Well, g'day, folks. How you going? Hope you're having a very, very good 8th of March. Mine started very badly. I woke up, was a bit doughy. I forgot my daughter's birthday. Got to tell you, feels like shit. But anyway, I hope I've made it up to her a little bit. She's had the car, been able to go off and see a few friends today and have a great day. What a day it's been in my part of the world. A very humid, muggy, absolutely friggin' awful kind of day. But it has been an interesting day. Last night, you might recall, we discussed the ATO and a very interesting business name that they use. The Ultimate Holding for All Company is a business name, not a company, listed under the ATO ABN. Well, it used to be. During last night's show, all of the information about that business name and some others was removed from the ATO website during the show. We still have the documents because we've had them for some weeks, a couple of weeks at least, looking over them, trying to figure out whether or not they're real. So it doesn't really matter that they've removed that information. But I do have a couple of people, including Dom, who's left a comment. He had a look at the ABN registration number today, and the Ultimate Holding Company link has been removed. It was there last night. Can someone explain? Well, there is really only one person we can get into this world to explain. She was on last night. We bring her back tonight. Good evening, Cass Smith from Freedom Financial Services. Thank you so much for coming back. Hasn't it been an interesting 24 hours?
It has been, Carl. And after last night, I couldn't help but come back again tonight. So further to what Carl just said, we shared that information last night, and then I had my partner came in to have dinner with me, and I said, hey, look at what we found. Have a look at this information. Replicated what we did on the show last night by putting the ABN in, and the information was gone. To which point I immediately called Carl and said, what?
Yeah. And we both looked, and it's like, wow, all gone. All gone.
Within minutes of the show ending.
Yeah. I actually think it was taken down during the show because I clicked on one of the links during the show, and then it wouldn't let me go back to the original document. Saying the document had been removed. So I think it happened in the first 15 minutes of the show last night, 15 to 20 minutes, and it was removed very rapidly.
Yeah, and I can tell you from my experience with these things, getting something changed on the ABN lookup register is no small feat. Like, it'll normally take the tax office 28 days to change something.
Wow.
So to have it changed that quickly, we are dealing with some powerful people.
That's pretty, impressive or frightening. It doesn't really, we don't know which way it goes yet. Although, after you and I hung up, my phone rang again. And this time, a trusted source informed me that we weren't meant to find that information out. It's too soon. We weren't meant to know about it. And that's why all that documentation has been removed. And the quote was, you have stumbled across and exposed a white hat QFS operation. So be that as it may. We've talked a bit about white hats, black hats, the potential, the not potential for it to be that, Cass. And we are not for one moment pinning our hat, regardless of colour, on this being a white hat operation, are we?
No. If it happens, that's great. But I gave up hoping for someone on a white horse flying in to save us all quite some time ago. Personally, I think we need to save ourselves. Yeah.
So today has opened up a few more interesting, companies, should we put it that way? What have you been able to find today after having your interest piqued after the show last night, if you like? Because it's made us both a little more interested to drill deeper into this, hasn't it?
Yeah, it is. So, Carl, did you want to share that screen?
Yeah, we'll bring that up. I'll bring it up. Here we go. Number 1.
All right, so this was just their first, I guess the first rabbit hole was when we looked at this last night, where it says trading names, it had the ultimate holding for all company, which isn't even written in correct English. Ultimate holding for all company. Anyway, so it was. And then that had a link to a huge number of other entities that then looked to be the holders of the Australian Taxation Office ABN. That information is now deleted, but as Carl said, we still have it. So what I then did is I drilled down into every single entity that was on that list, and I'm just going to run through a couple of them. So if this works, yeah, okay.
Yep, beautiful.
So the first holder of the Australian Taxation Office's ABN is the Commonwealth Bank of Australia. And when I looked into that, it absolutely does look like the Commonwealth Bank of Australia. So at first I thought, someone had just set up an ABN for the Australian Taxation Department, and it's not really the Australian Taxation Department.
Yeah.
And that might make a bit of sense if all of the underlying holders were just like dodgy people or hidden people or people we couldn't find.
Yeah.
But for it to be the Commonwealth Bank, which this is definitely the Commonwealth Bank, when we look at the trading names, it's all the Commonwealth Bank. ComInsure, Commonwealth Financial Services, Bank West, the subsidiary of Commonwealth Bank. Dolomite, that is the Commonwealth Bank, no doubt about it. So I didn't look too much further into that. I just went, that's very interesting. The next holder was BlackRock.
Yeah, BlackRock Investment Management Australia.
And I thought, now that is really weird, because BlackRock, what's BlackRock got to do with the Australian Taxation Office? So for those of you that aren't aware, this bit here where it says ASIC registration, view record on ASIC website, if you click on that link, it brings up the company details. If you want more details, you can actually get the directors' names by paying $9 for a company search. So that's what I did, because I just wanted to say, well, is this BlackRock really BlackRock? And I found the company directors, which were the likes of Jason Collins, Managing Director of BlackRock.
Okay.
Also, Michael McCrory, Chief Investment Officer for BlackRock. Also, Iris Davila, Director at BlackRock. Andrew Landman, Financial Services Council, an ex-CPA, Executive Head of Australasia, BlackRock. So, and the next one again, Andrew Yik, definitely all related to BlackRock. So Commonwealth Bank, BlackRock, definitely. They're there. They're holders of the ATO ABN.
Right.
I went to the next one. Quantum Corporation. Quantum Corporation. What? So I did the same thing. I went to the ASIC record and ordered a company report. And this is Quantum Corporation, New South Wales. It's been registered since 2003. It's been around quite a while. It's in New South Wales. The director is Angelo Zavaglia, who is a director of Quantum Contractors, which is a building company.
Right, okay. That's a bit weird.
So we've gone from Commonwealth Bank, BlackRock, to a building company.
To a construction company.
That doesn't even look that big. It just looks like probably quite a small little operation. Okay.
Yeah.
Next corporation, Merrill Lynch. I didn't dig too far into Merrill Lynch because obviously we all know who Merrill Lynch is. Well, maybe you don't, but it's a big organisation like BlackRock. But just interesting, Merrill Lynch and a few of them still have this link to the ultimate holding company, ultimate holding for all company. So it's still there on some of these, but when you click into it, there's nothing there.
There's nothing.
The link doesn't work. So that's the link they've broken, whatever that one went to. So yeah, I did do a company search on Merrill Lynch, and I looked up some of these directors. James Barrett, definitely high in the financial world. Bank of America, LinkedIn, and connected with Rio Tinto and Merrill Lynch. So very, very high level executive in the financial world. Another director of Merrill Lynch, can't pronounce the name, Petesk. Australian Chief Financial Officer for Merrill Lynch. So, yeah, Merrill Lynch definitely is there. So we've had Commonwealth Bank of Australia, BlackRock, Merrill Lynch, and Quantum Corp, which is a small builder in Sydney.
Yeah.
It's moving on.
Moving on. New PH.
New PH Proprietary Limited. So I did the same thing. I did got a company search on New PH. Registered to Patricia Holdings, who turns up a little bit later on.
Yeah, that was interesting, wasn't it, to see that one pop up?
Yeah. The director is Katie Louise McGovern.
Right.
According to LinkedIn.
Look out, now they're removing LinkedIn. Oh, no.
She's the managing director of Patricia Holdings, who turns up a little bit later. Senior business consultant and commercial lawyer specialising in company incorporation and compliance and digital platforms. So, yeah,
Wow,
now we've got a builder and a digital platform company set up lawyer.
Yeah.
Okay, moving right along. Tier 3 Proprietary Limited was the next one. Eric Peter Woolacott.
Yeah.
Eric Peter Woolacott. This is where I really started to go, who's watching me?
Yeah.
Eric Peter Woolacott lives in 2067, which I think is Sydney. Chief Executive Officer of Huntsman Security. Huntsman Security.
Yeah. This is an interesting one, folks.
Oh, it is an interesting one. If it's going to load for me, it loaded before.
Yeah. Fingers crossed, loaded for me eventually too. There we go.
Just have a look at this scrolling bit along here. Trusted by HM Government, Telstra.
Useless bastards. Oh, sorry, did I say that out loud?
Vodafone. Australian Department of Defence.
Wow. Kisco. Inside
So what
Tech.
is a security company that does the security for the Department of Defence holding the ATO ABN?
ATO. Yeah.
Yep. Unbelievable. Next along, we had the Bank of America. See how they still have the ultimate holding for all company? Link that doesn't go anywhere. It's been broken. So Bank of America. Company search. It's definitely in an important place, the Governor Phillip Tower in Sydney.
Oh, yeah.
Its registered office is the Bank of America Corporate Centre in North Carolina. Its local agent is Merrill Lynch. Go figure.
Go figure.
And the directors are Susan S. Bees. Who is she? Oh, she's worked on the Federal Reserve Board.
There you go. Her Federal Reserve history is there.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's mind-blowing.
This is a web, isn't it? We're looking at a web.
And if we had just had like Commonwealth Bank, BlackRock, Merrill Lynch, Bank of America, maybe you'd go, oh, okay, there's some really big, powerful people that own the ATO. But then you throw in the little randoms like the builder and Patricia.
Yeah. And the security company.
And a security company. So now we have Patricia.
Yeah, now we've got Patricia Holdings, the trustee, therefore.
And look at all her business names. She's got the ultimate holding for all company.
Yeah.
And Patricia Holdings in almost every
states.
Shelf company formation, super startup world, company registrations, the company incorporator, startup world, and more Patricia Holdings. I couldn't get any information on this whatsoever because they're all trusts. Okay, so for any of you that don't know, a company, the ACN is on the ASIC register and the whole director's ID hoo-ha means you can find out who is behind a company. you can't find out who is behind a trust. It just sends you in looping circles of just the business name. But she's got a lot of businesses there, whoever Patricia is. The next one is Zarina Khan.
Woohoo! There's a lot of questions about Zarina Khan.
Nothing I can find. Like, you've got a really long name here, Shirley K. Ken Cott. I can't find anything on her. Can't find anything.
Right.
So this web, well, I did find a LinkedIn profile, but it's just so minuscule. It's hardly even worth looking at, but I'll show you. But some of these are interesting. Look at this Australian company number 090446. So that was the only one that gave me a little bit of a, I could get the information on that Australian company number. The holder is Ferret Resources.
Ferrite Resources. Okay.
Also, Local Government Association of Queensland. Trustee for Local Buy Trading Trust. Zarina Khan again.
Fair Crown Trading as local buy.
Ferret Resources. I couldn't find any Google page to say that it was a legitimate business or anything. I could only find a very minuscule LinkedIn page that really says nothing. Australian non-listed public company investigating a suite of resource projects in Australia, the Americans, and Europe.
2 to 10 employees, it says, so it's not large.
No, not much at all. So that was a bit of a dead end. Page will expire. Yeah, that was the one we saw before. That's fine. But that was that Local Buy Proprietary Limited that was on the last screen. I was able to drill down into that. Located local government house in Newstead, Queensland. And some really random names here. I couldn't find anything on Alison Margaret Smith, too common name. Brent Riemann. So, yeah, Alison, who knows? She could be anything. There's so many different Alison Smiths. Brent Riemann seems to be a managing director and chief executive at Peak Services. Yet again, another just fairly minuscule organisation by the looks of it. So we have it owned, the ATO, ABN, owned by very, very big organisations like Commonwealth Bank, BlackRock, Merrill Lynch, and Bank of America, and a whole lot of random people like Angela Zaglivlia, a builder, Katie Louise McGovern, Patricia Holdings, Zarina Khan, and Huntsman Security. I am at a complete loss.
Me too, to be honest. I see somebody in there saying, oh, look, you could be setting a white hat operation back years here. I don't think so. If they can move swiftly enough to take us or take all that information away in what I suspect is 15, 20 minutes. And I didn't get told to stop talking about it last night. I just got told what we discovered. So until they want to ring me and tell me to stop talking about it, we're going to dig as deep into this as we have to. Because we don't know who's controlling all this. We don't know if it's white hat. We don't know if it's, the deep state. Yes, balance up everything that we assume is true that we've heard about white hat operations, Vanguard being taken out. Vanguard, of course, being the parent company of BlackRock and owned by the 12 families. Well, apparently Vanguard's gone, BlackRock is gone, and now the word is that the white hats have control of BlackRock and are using it to do whatever it is that they're doing. So whatever they're doing, if it's the white hats, for some reason or other, they have let this thread fall out. That's how we've got a hold of it. Until one of them decides to ring me and say, stop talking about this, we'll keep talking about it. Because it's interesting. It's weird. This is an interconnected web of such scale, and I don't think we've covered all of it in just what we've done in the last 2 days. An interconnected web of such scale and such complexity that it makes it, really difficult to really get a good perspective on the structure of everything, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. And yeah, it's just mind-boggling. Well, I looked up a few other government departments just to see if, that this was any other government department. And no, other government departments, like I looked up the Department of Health. It just had a normal ABN and it had a few registered names like, South Australia Hospital Services and, things that you would expect to be under the Department of Health. Nothing like this. I Googled quite a few government departments, couldn't find anything like this for any other department. Someone mentioned could this be fake names? It's possible. And that is why I think some of you might have seen when the digital ID hoo-ha came through that I wasn't actually that opposed to it, because the digital ID, you can actually set up a company and just put fake names as the directors. It's possible that someone set up this ABN and put this amazing spider web of entities together, unbeknownst to the entities. Commonwealth Bank might not even know that they're listed as a holder on this ABN. So it is possible. You do need to do a lot of research. You'd need to know the directors' names. You really might need someone saying close my messages. Oh, that's just LinkedIn. Doesn't bother me. You'd have to do a lot of research because you need the directors' names, the directors' date of birth. Normally to register a company, you would need their place of birth as well. But it could very well be you just make up that information. The whole point of the director's ID was to stop all of that and have every director of every company worldwide identified by an ID number so that this stuff can't go on. The only things this could be is, as Carl says, a white hat operation of some sort. Someone just out there playing a huge game for what a bit of fun on the side. I don't know what you'd get out of doing this. So that's the only explanations.
So what do we do? Is this a watch this space kind of thing? And there doesn't seem to be much point in trying to drill too much deeper into these people unless Zarina Khan and Patricia comes forward. I can't see how much further we can push this.
No, but I think we've got enough out there and enough people are talking about it. I had people messaging my staff here today to, say, I saw what happened last night. And so it's out there. We have taken it, just in case there is anyone out there listening that's on the bad side, we've taken this all the way to Parliament House.
Yep, absolutely.
The politicians have this information in their hands. So if anyone thinks that, just taking the information down or taking people out is going to stop it, it's not. We've got the information to the people in power.
Yep, they were contacting us first thing this morning. Yep. So it's there. They know what's going on. They're looking at it too. And I think they're quite confused about it as well, aren't they?
Yeah, they have no idea either. So, someone else mentioned on there. Yeah, there was another ABN that had Pekka Maru was a shareholder of it. That was another. I don't know where that one's gone, whether they've taken that one down or not. But it's.
David's
someone said could it be purposely designed wrong-term rabbit hole? Yeah, could be anything. Could be anything.
It could be anything. But what do we do? How do we expose it more? How do we confirm or deny it? Well, I don't think we can. It's something to watch. It's something to research yourself, folks. It's something to keep an eye on, delve into. If the ultimate holding for all company has disappeared and every indication is that it has, something else has to be put in its place, doesn't it, Cass? Otherwise, that whole structure behind it falls apart.
I'm not even sure about that because it just seemed to be a trading name.
Okay.
So, and I think the reason they made it disappear is that's what linked all those other ones that we talked about. Because now that that's gone, nobody else Googling it can come up with what we came up with. It's gone.
Yeah.
But we've got it, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah. We're happy to show it to you if you want to see it again, folks. It's very easy. In fact, the bit of paper they want is this one. That's the one you can't get to now. That shows the ultimate holding company and all its registration details and who's involved with it. But that is what has disappeared. But not to us. We still got it.
We've still got it, and we've got it to the right hands as well. So, as I said, they can't disappear it because we've put it everywhere.
Yeah. Pekka Maru runs 52 companies, Amelia's saying here, and based in Sydney. Is it MAROO or is it MARU, which would indicate a Japanese involvement, I would have thought. But maybe not. Maru was not.
Yeah, that would be another one. Maybe we can have a look at another night, Carl, because I did look at that once, and that also was just very, very interesting. It was like, what does that all mean?
Yeah, it certainly is a very tangled and very intricate web, not easily followed and not easily by any stretch of the imagination explained. But we have the detail now, so that's something worthwhile having. You've got another thing you want to share with us?
Yeah. Have you got so just about the Pekka Maru? I did see that one pop up about a year ago. So if anyone wants to follow up on it, it does look like Malcolm Roberts has done a YouTube video and a whole explanation of who Pekka Maru is. Pekka Maru owns some cleverly crafted business names that attempt to mimic state and government departments. So that has all been looked into by Malcolm, and we have given this information to Malcolm as well. But I think the information we've got today is even more interesting because Pekka Maru, as he said, was just a whole lot of cleverly crafted business names, whereas we've got something that's got Commonwealth Bank and BlackRock and Merrill Lynch and Bank of America. Something even more than just what the Pekka Maru situation was.
Well, I hope Malcolm will come on the show and have a chat with me. Tell us his thoughts on all of this. Love to have you on, Malcolm, if you'd like to come. I don't know that your press secretary is talking to me anymore, but I've got your number. Maybe I'll send you a text.
Yeah.
We'll see how we go. I'd be very interested to hear Malcolm's thoughts on this, actually, and Jared Rennick's.
Yeah. So we'll give them a couple of days to digest it all and then see what they if they want to chat about it.
Yep. Well, the three of them, consider yourself having an open invitation to come on the show and let's talk about this because I'm really interested to get your thoughts and theories on it. It'd be very, very interesting to have one or all of you on to talk about it because I'm sure you're digging into it. Thanks, Cass. It's been a very interesting 24 hours, and thank you for putting so much time into the research today. I know you're a very busy lady. Last night's chat triggered a lot of interest in self-managed super funds. People are concerned about the banks. We've seen more things in the news today about banking and how shaky things are. Interest rates went up again another 0.25% yesterday, expecting at least another jump maybe next month. People are getting concerned about money in banks. So there really is only one way to keep it safe and get it out of the bank, get your super out of big super and put it into gold and silver. From there, you can do anything, but you've got to hold it. That's the best way to do it, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's what we've got so many clients setting them up at the moment. And it really kicked off about September last year when I released a video. It's on my YouTube channel, just saying that I think the whole economic situation is going to come down. If you look at YouTube at the moment, there's videos being released almost every hour saying we really are at the end of the tunnel. Like people are saying next week by June, but they're all giving it a time frame of very, very, very soon before the whole system just collapses. That will include the banks. They're saying get your money out of the bank. So to me, it's all about getting your money out of the bank and out of superannuation, which is basically in the share market, which I believe is going to crash. Once again, I have to say I'm not a financial planner anymore. Yep. I was for 20 years and I quit so that I could say these sort of things because I can't say them as a financial planner. So I think the share market is going to crash, the biggest crash in human history. Get your super out of the online firms and into self-managed, into gold and silver. Yep. Store that gold and silver yourself. And then no matter what happens, you've still got your wealth because gold and silver is the ultimate store of wealth.
I was talking to a couple of people today who are getting their self-managed super fund through your business. They've been notified, one of the girls called them the last couple of days to say that it's all been held up until April. they've been fielding phone calls from the bank saying, "Oh, are you sure you really want to do this? Is it really legal? You know, you've got to be careful. You're being robbed." You know, they are really trying to turn them off. And now the super company, I'm assuming, has put a brake on all this while they do some kind of investigation as well. Are they deliberately slowing this down? Obviously, because they're seeing a lot of people going to super and saying, "I'm taking it and I'm going to turn it into my own self-managed super fund."
Yeah, they're deliberately slowing it down. But luckily, like I've got a team of about 10 staff here. We're dealing with pretty much every super fund out there. You know, we know how to push their buttons. I literally have 2 staff members literally just sitting on the phone all day, every day, calling the super funds to say, "Hey, we sent this rollover 7 days ago. Where is it?" And putting the pressure on them, because legally they have to release the money. They can't stop it. They can come up with every excuse they can, like, "Oh, the ID doesn't match, or the signature doesn't match," or anything they can come up with. But at the end of the day, they have to release it. And that's what we do, is we just hassle them every day to get that happening.
And of course, there's a cost involved in that. And people have, quite happy to make sure that those costs are covered, because at the end of the day, A, it comes out of the fund, and B, you get your money, you get your gold, you get your silver. I mean, it's much better that you've got it than those bastards do, particularly at the moment, folks. What sort of a return are you getting on your super? And better still, go and have a look at the markets. You are seeing conflicting information in the stock market. You are seeing interest rates going up, and share price going up at the same time. It doesn't work like that. There is no disposable income for families or people to buy shares. So we're seeing things that should, be working in opposites. If one goes up, the other comes down. We're seeing them, supposedly rising together. This is a big flag to me, and I'm not a financial advisor. I know nothing about finance. So have I got that right? When we're seeing these contra-indicators all of a sudden start going in the same direction?
Yeah, absolutely. And what I've always said is basically the share market to me is just one big Ponzi scheme. It is basically the shares are worth. Shares really don't necessarily reflect what the company itself is worth. The share price on the market reflects what a willing buyer is willing to pay a willing seller.
Yeah.
So the moment the buyers go, "Oh, things are bad, I'm not going to pay that, I'll pay less," sellers have to match the price. And then the buyers go, "I want to pay less," the seller has to match the price, and on it goes. And that's what causes the collapse. The GFC, the collapse that's coming, has got nothing to do with the underlying values of the companies. It's got to do with the market perception of what the willing buyer is willing to pay. And as soon as those buyers get spooked and start running for the hills, the market just collapses. And it can happen in days.
We're seeing some confusion in the chat about what would happen if you convert your super to gold and silver, and how do you go and trade that at a store for something to buy? If the banks are gone, how will we have money? This is the question. So
when it comes to trading gold and silver, gold has been around for 6,000 years. It was the original currency. We literally used to trade in gold. So the gold dealers and the goldsmiths, they were one of the first industries in the whole world. They will still be here when the time comes. So what will happen, you can always trade your gold back in at the gold dealers any day. You walk in, give them your gold, they give you the money back. Okay, really, really liquid, a really easy asset to trade. So no, you don't trade it at your local supermarket. You take it back to the gold dealer.
Yeah.
When the centralized digital currencies come in, which they are, no doubt about it, you'll take it back to the gold dealer and you'll get paid in centralized digital currency. That's all okay for now, unless we get locked out of the centralized digital currency because we don't comply. That's when we're really in trouble then. But I believe the gold dealers have been around since day one. They are all actually awake. They are all actually know while we're buying gold. They're on our side. So I think, I can't speak for them, but I'm sure there'll be some sort of black market set up.
Absolutely, I would guarantee it.
Or we trade with each other.
Yeah.
And if none of us have all bought this and we want to, if you want to sell a car and you put your car up on carsales.com and say, "I will take, 10 ounces of gold for my car."
Yep.
If a buyer comes along with 10 ounces of gold, you can sell your car. So
that's simple.
Yeah, exactly. And if we all buy it, and then, there will be, even if the gold dealers don't set up the black market, someone will.
Yeah. Yeah, and it will be a gold market, and it's as you say, 6,000 years old. It's as old as money itself, and has always worked.
And also add to it that all of the countries, particularly Russia and China, absolutely stocking up on their gold.
Yeah,
they wouldn't be
they're
doing
buying
it.
ours. They're buying a shitload of ours.
They wouldn't be doing it if it wasn't a tradable item either.
Yeah, yeah. So you're not going to be getting stuck with a whole, bunch of pretty green or pretty gold or silver bricks that you can do nothing with. Don't be concerned about that. There will always be a way to convert that, regardless of size, into whatever is the currency of the day. There will always be a way to do that, whether it's through the banks, or what will be the banks in the future, or whether it's just backyard trade. It'll work. It'll work. And I seriously don't think that if there is a white hat operation and all that's coming to fruition, that people are going to be ripped off in this. Central bank digital currency is a frightening set of circumstances if the wrong people are in charge. I'm led to believe that most, if not all, of the major coins will be decentralized, but there will need to be some form of centralized transfer system between countries. And I believe that's going to be backed in XRP, which is gold. So if you want to trade, buy something from overseas, you would ordinarily now have to go through whatever exchange it is that converts your Australian dollar to American or UK pounds or whatever, the euro, whatever it happens to be. Well, this essentially would be the same thing, except it's not the fiat transfer system. It will be the quantum transfer system. Centralized versus decentralized digital coins are going to be the key. I believe the public will have access to decentralized coins. The only centralized coin, but will not be bank or banker controlled, because the banks won't have that control. I believe that will be something else, something different, used for large international money transfers and all that sort of stuff. But once again, I'm not a financial advisor. Do not take financial advice from me, and do your own research. Go and have a look. If you know how to work out the financial system, and God knows many of you will be better at it than me, go and look and then get a hold of me. Tell me what you found. Explain it to me. There are many of people like me who need people like you, Kaz, and can't thank you enough for coming along and being available to help us at these times.
That's okay. There's a few comments asking, when I think it will happen. Look, I just don't know. I've been thinking it's been going to happen any moment now for well over a year and a half now. All I do know is that it's just inevitable. It cannot go on the way it is. All of the countries are bankrupt. America's bankrupt. Australia is bankrupt. We can't repay the interest on our own debts. There's no way out of this other than a collapse. And this has happened over and over again in the history of the world. I've mentioned before, there's been 4,800 currencies collapse in the history of the world. Basically, every currency that's ever been introduced collapsed. I mean, we all know the basic ones: the Roman Empire, the Egyptian Empire, the Mayans. Yeah, you just over and over and over again. A superpower builds up and then they collapse. So to think that the American dollar can't collapse is just, you don't know your history if you don't think America can collapse. And Australia is so tied to America, we will go straight down with them. At the moment, what is happening, I think I mentioned, I don't know what I talk about so much, but they're weighing up which currency is going to be the world domination in the future. And it looks to be heading towards BRICS: Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. South Africa. But Egypt has just joined BRICS, and so has Saudi Arabia. Don't think they're going to keep expanding the BRICS acronym to put everybody in, because someone said there's another 200 countries that have joined as well. So it's going to get a very long acronym, and I think they'll leave it at BRICS. But that is now the more powerful currency. They've announced that they're going to trade in the Chinese yuan. So America's about to crumble.
We've been talking about the one being the world trading currency now for about 2 or 3 years.
Well, they've announced it. They've made an official announcement.
Yeah.
So that's the start of the end.
Going to be interesting. I see one of the crack snatchers is in the chat again tonight. No, XRP is not gold. I didn't say XRP is gold. I said it's backed by gold. There's a big difference. If you don't know the difference, and given your mentality level, I'm sure you don't, go away and do some research. You'll figure it out for yourself. So I'm just having a bit of a scan down here. People are a little bit worried about Malcolm Roberts and his buy-in on all of this. But give him time, folks. Let him have a look. Let's hear what he has to say.
Yeah.
That's all I'll say on that.
Someone's asked if you need 100,000 or more to be in super, self-managed super. No, you don't. It's entirely up to you. And if you email Carl, he'll send it on to me, and I'll send you information to have a look at about that.
Yep. If you want to know anything about that, Carl at vofhq.com, and I'll make sure it gets onto Cass's desk for you straight away. Somebody said here, ABC bullion robbery today, $1 million worth of silver went missing. You hear about that?
I didn't hear about that, not today. I knew there was a truck that was hiked, but that was months and months ago. I didn't hear of another one today.
Okay, interesting. Interesting. If that's starting again, that would take us back to the years of back to the 70s, the big heists, the big secure van heists.
Yeah.
Dangerous days. Be very careful in those regards. Let me have a look by. Ask Cass, is it worthy to diversify or buying some Russian rubles as banks are now? Let me put this up. Ask Cass if it's worthy to diversify by buying some Russian rubles as banks now spew when we buy bullion and freeze our accounts.
Yeah, look, possibly, but then again, that's still just a currency. It's still just going to be an electronic system. So once again, if everything goes down, no. Unless you can get the rubles and hide them in your safe or in your backyard, I don't know. But yeah, it's really interesting. I've been doing financial advice type work for 20 plus years. Before that, I was with the tax department. It was always so complicated. Like, it was building portfolios, share portfolios, property portfolios, derivatives, all so complicated. And now it's so easy. Pay down your debt and put the rest into gold and silver.
Yep.
That's all there is.
That's simple. That's simple. All right. Thanks very much, Cass. I don't know if you want to hang around for the rest of it. I've got a few other interesting things I'm going to throw up tonight. So you're welcome to stay if you want, but I know that you're probably busy and got other things you need to do.
Yeah, I might head off and definitely catch you again. Let's see where all of this leads. And if anyone gets any more information, bring it to me and I'll have a look. Excellent. Thank you for all the work you've put in on this over the last few days for me, Kaz. I can't thank you enough for it. No worries at all. All right. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Cass Smith, Freedom Financial Services. If you are interested in getting into a self-managed super fund, that is the lady you want on your side to do it. Email me, Carl at vofhq.com, and I'll make sure that the message gets onto her desk. So some interesting things have come up across my desk over the last couple of days. In the descriptions, I've put down the link to the parts, well, the whole video, parts of which I'm about to show you. It's about Australia versus Australia, or what is Australia? In fact, that's what the video is actually called. Justinian Deception is the name of the website, and I highly recommend you go and have a look at the whole 23-minute video, although I don't know how much have I cut out of it here, about 5 or 6 minutes of it in different chunks for you to have a look at here. First of all, let's find out about Australians, shall we?
So if you're an Australian, that means you were either born in Australia, or you have one parent who was born in Australia, or you have failed to renounce your citizenship of Australia. Now, you can probably see why you need a ship, given that Australia is full of water. You need to be able to float. Nationals don't float, apparently, so they've got to give you a citizenship to get around in. So with being an Australian, so unless your parents were born in the ocean, 200 metres offshore or more, or you were born in the ocean 200 metres offshore or more, then you are not an Australian. You have simply volunteered to become an Australian yourself by applying for the Australian birth certificate, which gives you the citizenship. Now, there's something called being shanghaied. It's actually a legal term, and it's being put into the Navy. So basically what they do is they get you drunk, and then they put you on a ship, they sail outside the territorial waters of the country you were shanghaied in, and then you have to work on the ship because you are under the jurisdiction of the master. So when you're a baby and your parents sign you up, to Australia, so you're no longer in the Commonwealth of Australia, the constitutional one, you are shanghaied as a baby, kind of, because they also leave the option of you to become a Christian name and the beneficiary, which leaves you on the land. So I guess the crazy process that we go through is that when we're Shanghai, we're taken out to sea, we're put into this company that surrounds the land of the Commonwealth of Australia, this water world, and then we are given a licence, which is a birth certificate for our citizenship, so we can come back onto the land of the Commonwealth of Australia and be licensed to be here. But if we do anything wrong, we get locked up straight away. Because that's the contractual obligations, and that's under military law. Any soldier coming onto land, any Navy, they have to be licensed to be here, and they have to work under the Rome Statute, and that also goes back to the Nuremberg trials and all that as well.
Did you get that? Particularly the Shanghai bit. You understand Shanghai is a legal term. And what they do at birth is there are two birth certificates. There is the certificate of birth that you get from the hospital, and then there's the state certificate, which is the one that capitalizes you and effectively Shanghais you off the land. Did you get the idea of what he's talking about, the difference between the land and the water? We'll get more to that in a minute. Let's find out more about the land and the water.
Income Tax Assessment Act 1997, which is a Commonwealth Act, section 960 and decimal 5.05. If you want to know how much reading I do, that's right near the end. So it defines what this is. And if you have a look at it, it is a number of islands around Australia, so the Christmas Islands, the Cocos Islands, and Heard Island, a few other islands, but it's also the water. There's a map that the government produces to tell you exactly what this is, and it's not the land, because it says that Australia includes the continental shelf, the water above the continental shelf, the air above the continental shelf, and some of the land, the water around these islands. And this is exactly where we're saying that this is maritime law. This is coming in from the ocean. Australia doesn't start till 200 metres offshore, and it goes out for about 200 kilometres, guys. That's Australia. That's the legal definition under that act of what it is, and the government has produced a map to show you.
They produced a map to show you. They always tell us what they're doing, folks. Always tell us what they're doing. Don't be confused about the economic zone. Yes, that's what he's talking about. But what is it in reality? It's sort of outside the country. It's outside the margins, isn't it? Ever heard of what being outside the margins is like? Let's learn what being outside the margins is like for an Australian.
I think the marginal, it's like a document. You see here, this is probably classical. This is the document. This is the main part of the document. But the administration of a document is in the margin. And here you've got the page numbers, the sections, the name of places. And it operates in a, you'll probably find it is too. It's an italic text.
So it's a different text to the body of the text?
Yes, and it's over here. We've got debased Latin.
Yep.
But what the margin is doing is making sure
bold numbers as well.
Bold numbers, and no matter where you go, and
so everything's different. You're saying in the margin to the body.
That's right, and it's supposed to be different to make sure that the main body of the text is alien from the margin. So what's happened in Australia is you've got the Australia sort of thing, something like that, but it goes up a bit more like that. But around Australia, you've got this green zone that comes out around the islands. It comes down here, and I think it actually comes out over to Lord Howe Island. That's the margin. This area.
The marginal text is actually a physical area around Australia, is what you're saying?
Yes, what I'm saying is on the maps, whereas this is the real Australia.
Or Commonwealth of Australia.
AUSTRALIA. This one here is the all uppercase Australia, and this is the real English Australia.
So this one's been vacated and this one's administrating.
This is this is the administrator, just like on the page. You've got to remember that this is all got to do with, there's the real Australia and there's the administration of the page, the administration of Australia. And it's just done in a different sort of a mapping version, but it's using the same thing. So this all uppercase
text. The model
is
identical.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And you'll notice that in all of their maritime court documents and driver licenses, all this, they're using this all uppercase text on it, which is marginal text. So what you're saying, what they're doing is they're issuing the citizens that are actually living here out in the water Australia.
So they're born here, they're shanghaied out to here, and then they're licensed as pirates back to here.
Well, when they turn 21, they should have the right to come back into here.
And if they don't
if they don't come back, well, then they remain as the citizens out here, as the administrator or as the defender of Australia.
And obviously they're only out at sea in an equity sense, not literally.
Yes. in a legal sense.
Yeah.
The equity is here and the legal sense is all out here. So once you accept these legal titles from this zone outside of Australia, which is in this zone here, what they're saying is that you are living in the margin, which is the administrative part of the page.
What the fuck? Requires a bit more digging into. That video is over 3 years old. You'll find the link in my description on the video. It's from a channel called Justinian Deception. And there are a lot of very interesting videos to have a look at on Justinian Deception on YouTube. Go and have a look, folks. I think it's very, very interesting indeed. I mean, it's crazy shit. It's crazy shit. Do your own research. Do your own research. I've been doing a bit of research. Have a look at this.
Check this out. Ever heard the expression, there's nothing new under the sun? There were robots in existence in 1883. Look at these pictures. 1887. This man is getting his carriage pulled by a droid. See that? This is the famous Moorish boxer, Jack Johnson. Who was he fighting against? A droid. A bot. Here, the robot is on the stage being shown off to the crowd. 1883, they're showing the insides of the bot, the droid. 1893, here's a droid in the military. Frank Reed Jr. and his new steam man. Look at that. Marvel of the Klondike. Metal Man triumphs over an enormous grizzly. How about this one? Frank Reed Jr. and his new steam horse. Look at that. How about this one? Where do you think Star Wars got the ideas about droids from? They were already here. Wow.
It's getting crazy, folks. Seriously getting crazy. There is so much information that is being thrown out in back channels. So much information that's being thrown out in front channels. So much information is being put out. And we've got the fucking cooker watchers who want to throw shit. So I blocked her. Sick and tired of her bullshit. And I couldn't be bothered dealing with it any further. And if there are any other cookers who want to stick their heads up in the chat, I'm not going to tolerate you. I'm just going to block you. You cannot raise a reasonable argument. Not between all of you. You are fucking idiots. And I will not let you be a distraction any further. You are irrelevant, useless morons. So fuck off. I don't think I want to go much further tonight, folks. There's a few other things here I could show you, but I think there's enough there tonight for you to really go and have a look at. I'm not going to tell you what to believe. I want you to go and have a look. Go and do your own digging. There's no point in, me sitting here and saying, this is it, do that, do this. I know as much about this as you do, or I'm learning more, but I share it with you. We're learning at about the same pace. There is so much stuff available for you to learn. If only the unawake would choose to have an unbiased view, but we can't change their minds. All we can do is prepare our own. And by the sound of it, there is a shitload to be prepared for. So weirdness everywhere. On a good note, can I tell you about the magnificent Michelle Lee? Michelle is the lady who is rowing solo and unassisted across the Pacific Ocean. Right at the moment, she's sitting above 2 cyclones somewhere in the Coral Sea. She's about 700 nautical miles off Cairns, if you like, and is expected, hopefully, to make landfall around Cairns sometime in the next 4 to 5 weeks. We want to get up there. We want to be there for her. Michelle was given no media on her departure from Mexico, certainly none here in Australia. That may have something to do with the fact that she's aligned herself with A1 before she went away, believes in Ricardo Bosi and everything he stands for. And when I was talking to her on the phone one day last week, she rang me from the middle of the bloody Pacific. She didn't want to know what's going on there at the moment. She doesn't want to know what's going on in the world with news and all that sort of stuff, and didn't want to know what Ricardo and crew were up to at the moment, I guess because she has to be focused on what she's doing. But the fact of the matter was, she went off, started this journey, which is an epic journey. Some of the stories that she's told me on the phone, folks, if she has video of that stuff, and I believe that in a lot of cases she does, she's got GoPros all over the boat. You're going to be amazed at the mental strength of this woman, let alone the physical strength. And she's 5 foot nothing. One of the strongest women I've ever had anything to do with. She is just a dynamo. So, folks, if you want to come, my greatest fear is this woman has paddled 14,500 kilometers across the Pacific, and she's going to turn up to an empty beach or a bunch of people who are just, friends and family who are there to make sure that she doesn't have to walk home from Cairns. So, folks, I will keep you up to date with her arrival plans. And if you can get to Cairns, and I think we'll have a 2-week window where we'll be pretty accurate about, dates and times where she should be fairly close, I will tell you. But I understand if you're in Perth or if you're in Melbourne or Sydney or wherever, traveling to Cairns might be a problem. I know it's a problem for me at the moment. I haven't got enough money to get up there either. But we want to get there. The last thing I want this woman to experience, folks, is an empty bloody beach after she's paddled 14,500 kilometers. We cannot let that go unanswered. Beside anything else, it is just a superhuman feat, beyond superhuman feat. So if you can help, please help. If you can come, please come. I'm going to try and do some shows on the way up the coast because I know there's some interest in places like Gympie, Harvey Bay are keen to have us drop in again, I think, Rockhampton, Mackay, Townsville, Hello Peter, and of course in Cairns. So very happy to come and do shows anywhere up there. Contact me, give me a place where we can, aim to be on a certain night. I will make sure that we're there. And I will be talking with Michelle and her team a little later this week or over the weekend, and hopefully we will get to have a chat with Michelle live in the not too distant future. It'll only be a phone chat, obviously, but we'll get a little bit of information on what she's doing at the moment. She's had to spend 9 days, at least when I last spoke to her, she just got out of spending 9 days in her cabin. Her cabin is so small that if you were to go and lie underneath your kitchen table, that is what her cabin is like. And she spent 9 days in that. I believe the weather is pretty rough at the moment out there. And those 2 budding cyclones, I'm not sure if they've actually turned into full-blown cyclones. They're not being reported here as such, I don't think. Although you'd have to watch mainstream weather, and I don't. So she would be battling those because of the way that they're turning the waves, the wind, etc. I saw in her boat track has actually pushed her backwards a little bit. So that must be so disheartening. I hope she doesn't have a tracker on her that says she just got blown, 10 Ks backwards or whatever. But anyway, that's what the track is showing at the moment. It's a bit of a battle for her. So if you'd like to be part of the journey, or you'd like to help us be part of that recording, that magnificent journey's end, then please go to our website, vofhq.com, hit the donate button, and help us if you can. That would be great. Conversely, you can always become a member. Love to have members on board, and we are working on a few little member surprises. White hats. I have white hats coming, folks. It's all for a good cause. if you want one of the white hats, and I haven't got mine here with me at the moment, but the white hats with either Q17 or white hat on them, I'm going to have them in my hands in the next few days. So if you are interested, let me know which one you'd want, Q17 or white hat. And I think they're going to be $25 and postage, I think is the price. I haven't spoken to the person with them. I think that's about the price. It might be $30 plus postage, but I'll get it to you. We'll figure it out. If you want to buy a few of them, we'll do your deal. It's that simple. If you want to buy one of each, I'll do your deal. That simple. Let us know. Email me at carl@vofhq.com. When I do have them in my hand, I will put them up on the website, so you'll be able to click on them and actually buy things through the website rather than some of the shirts that we've got there that aren't available for actual printing yet. So the reason the shirts are so slow, folks, is everybody we've gone to says they want 1,000 shirts order. I haven't got 1,000 orders. I can't afford to pay out $1,000, well, multiple thousands of dollars for 1,000 shirts. So that's why the shirt thing hasn't really gone the way it's gone, because, don't have enough to fulfill the order. So we've taken those off for the time being. We're going to try and do a deal. There are other people I've been speaking to recently who are keen to try and help us in that regard. So hopefully we'll get a deal for shirts happening sooner rather than later. But the white hats with 17Q or white hat written on them, they're a really good quality hat. All the best people wear them, including veteran Dan and John Wilson, and quite a few people down in Canberra. So if you want to be part of that crew, a white hat, then let me know. Email me at carl@vofhq.com, and love to hear more from you. I'm going to have a quick scan at a couple of the questions that I saw flip through the other day. Anna, you making me blush. Thank you very much, Anna. That's very nice. Nobody's called me cute in a bloody long time. So that's put a bit of a smile on my face. Kate, oh, yeah, right. So this is what's going on up in the eyes. Aussie Sue, hello, sweetheart. Robert Deutsch is, if you're not familiar with Robert Deutsch, go to Facebook and type in Robert Deutsch. Robert Deutsch is a savant when it comes to the weather. He can read these maps like no man. And he is usually 100% on the money. He's predicting phenomenal rainfall coming to the north of Queensland and to the southeast corner. I don't know if that rain is coming from north to south, or we're going to have a couple of different events, but watch that. And Sue's saying that, it hasn't stopped raining up there since Friday. They're talking about flooding right through there and down into southeast Queensland. That's going to be unpleasant for everybody yet again. JJ, question for Emily. Oh, well, for whoever turns up on Saturday night. It's saying 90% has been chipped. Righto. Jane, be prepared. We're going to know what Emily's talking about there. 98% of the population has been chipped. Folks, I don't know if you have been following me that long or whether or not you've seen the video, but I have a picture. It's an MRI that shows something metallic in the back of the neck of the subject. The subject wasn't wearing anything metallic. It was completely weird. And when you zoom in on this, anomaly in the body, it looks like a digital number, like a digital 8 that you can make any number out of from 1 to 10 sort of thing. So very interesting, very, very interesting, very weird. Going to go into that a little bit deeper. But if everybody is chipped, then the person, and I will dig that photo out. It's just difficult for me to find immediately. But I do have it because the subject is my daughter. And there is something weird in the back of her neck. Right up against her spine, right up against a vertebra. It's very weird. Nobody, doctors, nurses, nobody can tell us what it is. Very weird. There are a lot of strange things happening in the world, folks. I really hope that you've got your eyes open. I'm very excited, very excited. I'm bloody annoyed it's all happening so slowly, but I'm excited. It's It's got great potential. I think some of the things that we've found out through Cass and others who have been supplying information, and thank you. Please don't think that I get all this information myself. I don't. I have a lot of you to thank for the information that I present to everybody else, because a lot of you are doing amazing research. And when you find this queer shit, you send it to me. I love it. Thank you very much. And why don't I mention most of these people's names? Well, when the people give me permission to mention their name, I do. Some people do not want to be recognized, don't want their name publicized, don't want to become a target, I think is probably the way. So I will maintain their confidence, absolutely. And if you find something you want to share with me and you're worried about me maintaining your confidence, have no doubt. I will maintain your confidence. I will not expose you, but I will quite happily take whatever research you find. Obviously, we will look at it too and try and verify it from our sources as well. But once we've done that, we bring it to you and let you decide. I'm not going to tell you what to think, what to feel, or what to do. You're an adult, for God's sake. Think for yourself. That's what it's all about. Unfortunately, Quacker Thwatch and the bunch of morons she hangs out with haven't been able to come to that yet. And you want to know the really sad part about that? Is there's some of the dickheads on the road.
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up.
Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life.
It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line. That's why we're going back.
Does anybody else want to stay?
Let's ride!